Toyota recently gave its popular hybrid crossover a mid-cycle refresh, and as expected, we didn't have to wait long for Toyota Motor Philippines to bring this in. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the facelifted Toyota Corolla Cross. Well, the bulk of this facelift can be found on the front fascia. Toyota has done away with the chrome trim on the old Corolla Cross and gave it a very clean looking, very modern-like grille. And it looks pretty darn good. Now, as for this one, this is the GRS variant. As you can see, Toyota didn't really change much with the front fascia. It does get new snazzy looking headlamps though with sequential turn signals that look pretty good. Now, that's most of it for the front end. Let's check out the rear. Now, as for the rear, I'll give you a second. Notice anything? Well, you will need an eagle eye for this one. The only changes here can be found on the taillights. Toyota has changed up the design a bit and that's about it. But before we check out the interior, notice that this one has a new color. This is something very familiar. You can find it in the Hilux range. This is emotional red. It comes available in the top spec GRS variant for an additional 5K. We're now inside the GRS variant and the layout here is pretty much the same. Same buttons on the steering wheel, same buttons and knobs here for the AC controls, gear shift lever still here, but Toyota made a few significant changes. This is a new 10-inch infotainment system that's only an inch bigger than the old one, but it's so much clearer, has a more visible display, and it now comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Thank God for that because it has two ports here, one USB-A port, one USB-C port. That's not ergonomic at all. If you plug a cable here, you'll have this dangling and sooner rather than later, that's probably gonna break. Now, as for this head unit, by the way, it has a very clear, as I said, a very clear display and the user interface is just so much better than the old one. And if I'm not mistaken, this one on the wallpaper is a Supra. Looks pretty cool. I think that's a Supra. Now, while it no longer has the buttons or the knobs like before, I feel like this one is gonna be much easier to use. Now, paired with this one is a new 12.3-inch instrument cluster that's fully digital for the top spec trim. It's such a clear display. I'm trying to navigate around this one now. It looks so clear. It looks so nice, so pleasing to the eye. You also have your battery gauge here, of course, and your fuel gauge. Another change here, which I like, Toyota has made the electronic parking brake standard across the range. So no more foot parking brake, which was frankly a bit confusing and a bit surprising when I first drove the Corolla Cross. Also, for the top spec trim, Toyota has added a panoramic moonroof up top. In the old one, you only get a small sunroof up here. Now, in the lower variant, you don't get this panoramic moonroof and you don't get this digital instrument cluster. You do get new gauges for those though, and they still look pretty good and you still have all the information you need for driving. For this hybrid variant, it also still gets a drive mode and the EV mode buttons here, but something new here, last but not least, the wireless charger. This is also standard across the range. Now, in terms of space and comfort, it's still the same as before. Still the same legroom and headroom, and the seat material is still the same. It's leather. These, by the way, are GR seats. You don't get that in the lower variants, of course. Cup holders here, bottle holders on either side, and that's it. I guess, for the sake of it, let's check out the second row. So, as I said, not a lot of changes here. Still the same comfortable second row. Still got a lot of headroom, got a lot of legroom. This, by the way, is set to my driving position, I think, and I am 5'5", and I still have a lot of space left. Now, my complaint about the Corolla Cross has always been elbow room in the back. And Toyota made no such changes with the door panels to address that, so I think 3 people here, even if they're not as wide as me, will still have a bit of a problem fitting properly. But you still have this comfortable, nifty armrest with the matching armrest here, the bottle holder, and this nice new panoramic moonroof. That's not advisable to be opened from the second row because it's a bit far, but I wouldn't mind being a passenger here. But it's time to drive, so let's go. So now we're finally behind the wheel and on the road, and can I just say, I'm loving this moonroof. The summer sun is out, but it isn't that harsh because it's a bit tinted and it feels nice to have the sun in your face, the sun inside the cabin every now and then. Anyway, as for how this one drives, well, Toyota didn't really change anything under the hood. You still get the same 1.8-liter gasoline engine with a single electric motor for the hybrid variant, and it comes with a CVT that drives the front wheels. Now, the only difference with this facelift is that there's no longer a gasoline-only variant in the lineup. So for 2024 and onwards, the Corolla Cross will only be available as a hybrid. Now, as for that hybrid powertrain, well, it's still the same as before. It's not fast. You wouldn't call the Corolla Cross fast, and that's not exactly what you look for in a crossover like this one. But what it is it's very light, it's very easy to drive, and most important, it's very fuel efficient. I remember we got about 20 kilometers easily in mixed conditions with the old Corolla Cross, and that's basically the same for this one. I'm pretty sure you will be able to get the same figures. Now, we just drove through some rumble strips. I'm not sure if you noticed, but that's also a testament to how comfortable and how quiet it is inside this cabin. And that's basically what you need and what you want in a hybrid crossover. It's very quiet in here, sound insulation is very, very good, and it eats up most road imperfections with these. And it's gonna be very comfortable driving this around the city, as with before. And of course, as I said, it's still very easy to drive. It's got light steering, so if you want a daily driver that can get you around the urban districts of Metro Manila, this one is still one good way to go. Now, on to the big question. How much is it? For this one, the GRS variant, this stickers for 1,917,000 pesos for the white pearl option, and for this emotional red color, you need to pay an additional 5,000 pesos, as I also mentioned earlier. For the lower V variant, that's an additional... Wait, the sun is in my eyes. Too much sun this time. So again, for the lower V variant, that's 1,763,000 pesos. And for the base G variant, which is now also a hybrid, it stickers for 1,498,000 pesos. That makes the Corolla Cross the most affordable hybrid in Toyota's lineup. So that's some food for thought. Would you get this one or the Yaris Cross? Or I don't know, you tell us.